mysteries that hide. So come on in and take a seat. Get ready for a show where anything can happen and the energy will flow. Welcome to the fun house where the music's loud and the lights are bright. A one-of-a-kind experience that will keep you up all night. You might get just Paul, or maybe one of his friends. Jazzy the Jester, Max the Magnificent, Logan the Legend. They're all here to take you on a ride. So join Paul and friends and let the good times roll. In the world of the fun house, where anything goes, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Paul's Funhouse. In this week, it's a very special week because here at the Funhouse, we're doing something I've never even thought of doing, and we're doing it right out the gate, episode 3, for crying out loud. We are breaking into a 3-part series on all things supernatural and paranormal. By that, I mean we could be talking about aliens, we could be talking about UFOs, we could be talking about Sasquatch, the end of time, time travel. We could be talking about all sorts of things. Because I told you, here at the Funhouse, you never know what you're going to get. And for part 1 of this series that I'm calling The Unknown, we're going to be talking about some what ifs. What if we're living in the end times? What if the zombie apocalypse happens tomorrow? What if zombies already walk upon us? What if aliens have helped shape the earth as we know it, the world as we know it? What if ghosts are real? What if you can truly be possessed? What if Sasquatch were to appear behind me? Those are the type of things we're going to be talking about. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. And we're going to kick it off with, what if Sasquatch is real? Whether you know it as Sasquatch, Bigfoot, a Yeti, or many other names that have been associated with Bigfoot. What if this creature is real? Well, for me, I believe this creature is real, but I don't think it's a creature. As we have seen throughout history in school and on television and things like that, we've seen the evolutionary chart. Well, if you look at it, there is a spot on the evolutionary chart that resembles Bigfoot. Now, here's my thought process, and it goes back to what ifs. What if this was a tribe or a group of individuals who couldn't get past that point evolutionary-wise? What if instead of continuing to evolve, they just got taller? Because we've seen reports of Bigfoot here, there, throughout the world. How could one creature make it all over the place? Well, I don't think it is just one creature. I think it's a tribe of creatures, or several tribes of creatures, and they've gone into hiding because they didn't continue to evolve. They don't have a spoken language like we do, but they have their own version of a language. That's why there's the noises associated with them. They're calling out to each other, they're talking to each other, things like that. I really believe that if we're going to follow the path of the evolutionary path, then this has to be an option. Because if we don't look at it that way, then how can we look at evolution as being an actual thing? We have seen reports through my lifetime, at least, of skulls and all sorts of different things that don't add up. I mean, they've dug up skeletons that they believe could be giant. Okay, so what if that's actually what happened? In our evolutionary period, the Bigfoot like spot in evolution, what if that wasn't just short like they assume it to be? What if it was giant sized? What if it continued to shrink as it evolved because the world changed? The earth around them changed, and so they had to adapt. We've seen creatures who adapt throughout their lifetime. It may not be, father to son or mother to daughter. It may be two or three generations down, adapt something that this generation didn't have, but now this one does. I think that's kind of the same thing with the Bigfoot scenario. Anyway, before I go too far down into that rabbit hole, let's kind of switch gears a little bit as we're talking about evolution and the world changing. What if society and civilization is only the way we know it today thanks to aliens? Yes, I'm kind of going down the ancient alien path here for a minute, but I'm not going to be into it too much or for too long. But if you've ever seen an episode of Ancient Aliens, it makes a lot of sense because we see ancient artifacts and ancient relics and paintings and cave drawings of these gods and goddesses as we've now determined them to be. And they're always on some type of special chariot or a cloud or something. What if that was the simple mind at the time's version of a god or a goddess? That chariot was a spacecraft. These aliens were actually the gods and goddesses. I mean, it makes sense to a point. Because religions in general, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this one, but religions in general are based off of belief. We don't have necessarily evidence of the things that we consider our religious aspects. Jesus, God, those things. We don't actually have physical proof outside of this book, but you are asked to believe that it is real, that it is legit. So how is that any different than saying that aliens are real and aliens helped shape society? Now, as technology has improved and continued to get better throughout time, we are starting to see pictures and video evidence of unexplained things in the sky. They're UFOs, by definition, unidentified flying objects. Doesn't necessarily mean aliens, but with where we are at, can we really say that there is no possibility of life on any other planet, in any other part of our universe, apart from Earth? Can you really say that? Which brings me to, what if space travel and time travel are actually real? We've seen people post on TikTok and other social media platforms videos of, oh guys, I time traveled, here's proof. Alright, a lot of that stuff is fake. Most of it is fake. There are places that have dedicated restaurants and buildings and things like that to the good old days, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. You can go find 2000s cafes. Alright? Those places exist, and that's what we see a lot of in these videos, are these places that still exist in a specific area, in a specific way, but yet somebody will take their phone and say, hey, look, I time traveled. But what if people actually can time travel? I mean, one of the first rules of time travel on any show about time travel is you can't interact with yourself. So it's not like you could sit there and say, well, you know what? If I invent time travel, I'm going to come back to this very moment right now and say, hey, we did it. Because that would mess everything up. You can't do that if you can travel in time. We've seen pictures and old video of what looks like people that don't fit in. Now, I'm not saying that those are actual time travelers. What I'm saying is it's a possibility. What if it actually is real? Because those photos can be doctored. I'll say that. Photos can be doctored these days. All you got to do is have any type of photo editing software, and you can throw yourself into a picture from the 1920s, you know. But what if those people actually found a way to travel there? That's something interesting to think about. I mean, is our government going to tell us that, hey, time travel existed and we've chosen to do nothing with it? No, they're not going to do that. So don't even expect that to happen, even if it is real. All right, anyway, trying to keep the ball rolling here and not get down too many rabbit holes. But the next thing I want to talk about kind of is a little bit out there. This episode of Paul's Funhouse is being brought to you by the Kicking Out Podcast. Follow them on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. It's a wrestling podcast focusing on AEW each and every week. You can join Tanner Lee, Austin Shepard, and myself as we talk all things AEW. We'll get into some other stuff as well, but our main focus is AEW. And the fantastic news about the Kicking Out podcast is they've got great merchandise. So you can support a great podcast and look fantastic doing so. All you need to do is go to kickingOutShop.com to support a great podcast and look fantastic doing so. And there's some great news all August long. You can enter promo code FUNHOUSE and get free shipping on your entire order. It's kickingOutShop.com, promo code FUNHOUSE, FUNHOUSE, for free shipping on your entire order. So check out kickingOutShop.com today and get your Kicking Out Podcast merchandise. And now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. What if we are living in the end times? There are more and more things that are making me believe this. Now, I am not someone who is overly religious. I'm not going to say your religious beliefs are wrong because you believe them. I believe everybody should believe what they believe. Now, almost every religion has their version of the end of the world, the end of times. And I think no matter what religion, we have entered those end times. We are starting to see earthquakes in places that we don't normally see earthquakes. There's more and more talk about a fault line that could affect Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and a few other places, Tennessee and Kentucky. That hasn't been talked about for years. I remember as a kid doing earthquake drills. They don't do those anymore. You do fire drills and tornado drills. That's it. Well, and now you do active shooting drills, so that you can be safe if there's an active shooter in your school. But earthquake drills in my area have gone out the window. So to be prepared for something like that is going to be a little bit difficult. But we've even seen a geyser. I'm going to call it a geyser. I know that's not the proper name. It's a hypothermal something or other in Yellowstone explode that shouldn't have exploded. Now, there's no volcanic activity in Yellowstone, so we don't have to worry about that as I'm recording this on August 12th, 2024. That doesn't mean that something could change in the next couple weeks. So if you're watching this in September, October, November, maybe something has changed. I don't know at this point in time here in August on the 12th. But anyway, with that being said, the Storms are acting different in the United States. We're seeing more tornadic activity this year. We're seeing tornadoes in places we don't normally see one. I saw a video not too long ago about a tornado in Buffalo, New York. That's not something that's common there. Especially, I mean, if you've seen the new movie Twisters, the girl's living in New York and she says, there's not very many tornadoes here. Alright, so think about that. But there are a lot of things that start to make you wonder if we are indeed living in the end times. I'm not even going to get political with this because we could go down that route, but I'm not going to because I don't want to talk politics on this channel. Like I said, I want to keep it fun. I know this end times talk is semi-serious, and my first video was pretty serious as well, but just think, what if we are living in the end times? Let that sink in for a little bit. Next topic I want to talk about, what if ghosts are real? Well, again, I believe they are. There are a lot of ways you can find out for yourself if you're a quote-unquote non-believer, but I do. I believe that ghosts are real. And what I want to talk about is helping you understand that maybe they are real. There are a lot of unexplained things that happen in life. We don't truly know what happens after someone dies. Very few people who have passed away and come back, due to a heart attack or comas or things like that, they don't know what actually happened while they were gone. They can't tell you what happened. So what if ghosts walk among us right now? What if, not every person, but what if there are people who, when they die, they stick around to look over someone for unfinished business? What if that stuff's real? Well, maybe you start setting up a camera if you've heard unexplained noises or see something out of the corner of your eye. Maybe you can set up cameras and catch that evidence for yourself. You can always post it online. People will tell you if they believe it's real or not, or what they believe it could be. So, what if ghosts are real? Well, this guy thinks they are. What are your thoughts on it? And again, you can always comment down below in the comments about any of these topics, your thoughts on them. I would love to hear them. And I'm going to try to reply to every single comment that I see. Just because I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to say I'm right or I'm wrong. It's open for debate. Every topic I have covered is open for debate. The last thing I want to touch on today before we wrap up part 1 of The Unknown, What Ifs. What if zombies walk among us already? But I'm not talking your undead, back from the grave, climbed out of the grave type of zombies. I'm talking about what I refer to as technology zombies. A zombie, although it is considered to be undead, has very unique characteristics. Not a whole lot of movement, very limited range of movement, not fast, not intelligent. And I'm not saying that technology zombies are unintelligent by any means. What I'm saying is we're seeing more and more people who are out there every day walking around like this. They're sending text messages. They're video chatting. They're taking selfies, And the problem becomes those zombies are not good either. No type of zombie is good because these technology zombies are putting themselves at risk, and they're putting other people at risk as well because they are not paying attention to their surroundings. So they could walk out in front of a vehicle and not realize it. They could run somebody over with their vehicle and not realize it right away. These things scare me because, in my opinion, these are classified as zombies. I've seen people who literally drive with their phones right here. How can you fully see the road? If you're over here looking at this like this the whole time you're driving, I mean, you gotta, I can't make sense of that. Texting and driving, I used to do it. I've been bad about it. I'll glance down at my phone now if I'm stopped or slowing down, but I will not text and drive. I used to when I had a flip phone, and that's only because I knew exactly where every key was to represent every letter back with the T9. The good old days. But anyway, I actually saw an individual go past my house on one of those little electronic boards. They're called hoverboards, I think, but they don't actually hover. And they were staring at their phone the whole time. What happens if you hit a uneven spot in the sidewalk? You're going to fall. You're going to get hurt. You're putting yourself at risk, so let's not do that. Anyway, now that my little PSA is done there, and I'm going to get down off my soapbox before I cause too many more problems and lose followers, we're going to wrap this up. This has been part one of the unknown, the what ifs. There are still plenty more what ifs that I would love to cover, but I'm just gonna hit on these. And as the week progresses, you'll see some other videos come out around these topics. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you know when my videos drop, and you can go watch them right away. Don't forget to follow Paul's Funhouse on all social media at Paul's Funhouse. It's very simple to find. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It's all at Paul's Funhouse. So go look it up. Be sure to follow along on all social media. I'm posting memes up there. I'm going to combine a bunch of this meme stuff that I'm doing and eventually do a whole video about some of my favorite memes of all time. But that's down the road. We'll have another unknown video coming up this week, and that'll be part 2. So again, like, subscribe, follow me on all social media at Paul's Funhouse, and I promise in the near future we're going to get this all wrapped up so that I'm not rambling on forever and a day, because, well, I'm still learning. So like, subscribe, and definitely stay weird.
This has been Paul's Funhouse, where the party never ends with all your friends. Tell all your buddies it's gonna be a wild ride.